try to make this video real quick. Just to go off of what I was saying in my last video about how black women overplay their hand and whatnot. And I was having this discussion with this black woman, and you know, she was tooting her own horn, well, the black women's own horn as a collective and whatnot. She was like, well, you know, what about those black women who did that, this, that, and the third in NASA? And I'm like, yeah, that's cool and all, but you know, where did that translate to the improvement of black people as a collective? You know, did all of a sudden, did from that spawn, you know, black people getting a foot into aerospace? Like, are we well known for aerospace and physics and shit like that? Did that translate to that? You know what I mean? Like, no. And I'm like, you know, just blowing your own trumpet about what your specific gender did is pointless to me, because I'm like, shit, the black man created the fucking stoplight. Hell, you want to go back even further than that, you know, if you want to talk about original man status, the black man invented the wheel and goddamn invented fire. So what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So I'm like, but like, we can go back and forth all day about, you know, touting the accomplishments, but I'm like, that didn't translate to anything as a collective. I'm like, where are the overall results for the betterment of the people? Where did that? And then, you know, she went into this, you know, most educated demographic in America, you know, most entrepreneurial is, that's not even a word, but you get what I'm saying. They black women start the most businesses, and you know, I really didn't want to, you know, shatter her whole, you know, thought on that, her whole philosophy to bits. But I was like, you know, that statistic is kind of skewed, and it's used out of context. You know, any accredited you know, as long as you enroll into an accredited institution of learning, whether it's a fucking hair school, you know, or Harvard, that qualifies as, you know, you're enrolling into school. And as long as you register an LLC, you know, that qualifies as, you know, you're starting your own business. So I'm like, y'all taking those stats out of context, man, and y'all not using them right. Or y'all not telling the whole story behind it. So, you know, Eloquisha, who enrolls in her local hair school, and then after she gets her hair tactician credentials, I don't know whatever that's called, she goes down to her local state office and applies for her LLC. So now she can legally and lawfully do hair out of her living room. And I'm like, I'm like, you're not gonna see. So now all of a sudden she's some Rhodes Scholar, you know. Now she's on par with the greatest minds that ever existed on Earth. You know, now all of a sudden she's some titan of industry and shit. I'm like, yeah, I can see her on Forbes magazine with a couple of bundles of yaki in one hand and a Black and Mild in the other, with a open face gold tooth smile. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man, get the fuck out of here with that, man, for real. Like, it's like y'all not doing it like that. Like, y'all not doing it like that. Y'all grabbing low fruit statistics and then twisting them and using them out of context. And then it's just like clockwork, man. They like clockwork. As soon as I started, you know, pointing out these facts, she was like, oh, nigga, you just being negative. I'm like, that train is never late. That train is never late. Whenever you come with empirical data, that is dismissed with the you're being negative. claim, and I'm like, come on, come on. And I tried to, beseech her to, be a little bit more realistic and, take a stern examination of her place in the universe. Because, black women, I'm talking to y'all. As long as y'all want to be delusional and unrealistic about some of these certain topics that we're talking about, as long as y'all do that, the men are just gonna say, man, fuck y'all. And then y'all are just gonna turn around and say, see, these niggas don't want to work with us. But I'm like, if we can all just be honest, and quit trying to place the blame on everybody else, on the other party. We can just be honest, like, okay, we're fucking up in these areas and we're gonna fix them by doing this. But y'all fucking up in those areas. But y'all are fucking up in these areas right here. And then, the other party says, yeah, you're right. We are fucking up in, these respective areas. And this is our plan to fix that. So, we can come to some sort of agreement, as it goes. Come now, let us reason together, I didn't want to just completely rip in to black women and just, tear asunder her whole sanctuary of what she believed. But I'm like, I had to, how SWP put it, kind of leave her a way out. Don't completely and utterly destroy them. You know what I'm saying? Satirically speaking. But, I basically, essentially broke it down like this. I'm like, okay, whatever mating strategies that black women have been using over the past 30 years, it has failed. Their whole approach to mating and whatnot, it needs to change. That is what it is. It kind of reminds me of, for all my Madden players out there, you got your buttery go-to play, right? That you want to pull out. So you get the ball, you're on your own 25. You call that play, you go out and you throw a incompletion. You're so upset that play didn't work that you hold triangle to run it back again. It fails on second down. So you run it back for third down. The play still doesn't work. Now here it is. It's fourth down. You're on your own 25, and you run the same play 4 times in a row. And it fails on the fourth time. Now guess what? You turn the ball over on downs. Not only did you turn the ball over on downs, but now your opponent is in scoring position. It's like y'all keep doubling down on these failed mating strategies, and that needs to stop. But just a quick vid though. Need to go ahead and get me some rest in before class this morning.